Boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of the Witching Hour podcast. I'm your host, still the beloved John Roycelyn. And to that one person that commented, inquiring, I will answer no. As a matter of fact, I am still not wearing anything underneath my clothes. So more to
I
think
felt
about.
bad because I had scrubs on.
More to think about. They answered, I answered. So there we go. Special show tonight. Longtime friend of mine, Mr. Alan Alberson. We are now going by Creepy. We are here tonight to talk to him about Captain Creepy's Terror Tomb of
Tome of
Terror.
Terror.
Hmm?
Tome of Terror.
Tome, I apologize.
Everyone gets that right.
Tome of Terror, his newest publication. We are working on episode
This is two
two. Two that we're getting ready to release. His first one just came out, about 2 months ago?
yeah, April the 20th, 420.
420. Go figure.
We are smoking.
Now, unfortunately, tonight we had another special guest that was going to be joining Alan. A lovely woman, a model named of Heather Williams. She is
a loser. You're a loser, Heather.
She was going to be joining us tonight. She unfortunately hurt herself, got a little bit injured. She is okay, but kind of has to take the night off, put the feet up, so to speak. Heather is going to be in episode 2. I believe she is the cover model as well as a spread with inside the magazine as well.
She is not the cover model, but she is on the inside. She is going to be the cover model on issue 3.
Okay.
And honestly, the response to that was so good that I put her in issue 2 as well. I had a limited number. The cover model Jatori for issue 2, beautiful girl, stunningly beautiful girl. But I didn't have that many pictures of her anyway, and I was going to, we'll go do a shorter photo set, but there was so much popularity for Heather, and so many people ask about her. I'm like, hey, we've got space in issue 2. Is it okay if I use some of your pictures in issue 2? And it'll be like a sneak peek. Say your words right. So she is in issue 2 and will be in issue 3.
Well, just so you guys that were wondering, the video slideshow opening up the show, I didn't do my producer, Tony Covington of Hack's Horror Show, actually did a small mock-up of Heather on the cover of one of the magazines. So that's not the official, but it is going to make for a.
It might end up being the official. We're still working on her actual cover shot right now.
So, tell me about the publication. What made you decide to? Because I know that you have written. You've got a few books out now.
Yeah.
You've done writing. That's how you and I actually met, and we worked together on a website. What made you decide to dive in to a publication?
The millions and millions of dollars of income that is now flowing into my bank account. Oh, no, out.
That's what it is. Okay.
Oh gosh, I mean, horror. It was probably my first love because there's a lot of things I remember from my childhood. Actually, there's not. I have these snippets of pieces of memory. Like I remember a horse that my grandmother had. It was one of these little statuesque whatnot things. I remember that. No context. I just remember me holding that horse. I remember trips we took, but I remember watching horror movies with my father when I was probably 4 or 5 years old, lying in bed with my father, which I know that sounds creepy now, but we lived in this very, very small, we lived in a trailer, and when it got winter, we moved into the house with my grandmother every year, and we just had this very small room, and I didn't sleep with him. I had my own room. I had a couch to sleep on. but I would go in there and watch TV in the bedroom with my dad, and that's where I saw the Universal horror movies. So that was my indoctrination into horror.
Very
And
nice.
so many friends who are like, oh, my indoctrination is Romero zombie movies. My movie love started about 30 years before that with the Universal horror. And as I got older, I started reading. I started trying to write and like sucking at it because I had no training and very little skill. And I've gotten at least a little bit better at it. But the magazine, I was literally talking to a friend of mine who is a model, and I don't want to mention her name because she's going to have some involvement with the magazine later on, but I don't want to throw her name out. But I just said, "How do you make money in photography now? There's no way to make money in photography." And she was like, "You could start a magazine." And she was like, "Start a magazine, use your photography. You write, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I write a little. It sucks, but I write." "Well, do your writing and put the magazine in." So that was the first inclination of it, and just doing it like that, spending no money, doing my own photography, writing my own stories. And I decided that that's a really, really cheap way to do this because number one, my writing sucks, especially if I'm rushing it. If I take my time, I can come out with something that's halfway decent. But I said, why don't I get actual writers? So I started contacting people just to back me up. Like I'll do a story every now and then they'll write. I'll take pictures. And for some reason, it was a lot easier to find people who wanted to write than I expected. And I definitely don't think I have a personality to get out and meet people and talk to people, obviously failing completely at everything I do.
Oh,
And
stop.
after that, before I ever got the first issue into production, I had decided, oh my God, I'm too busy talking to people to write. I'm too busy talking to people to do any photography. So I ended up, the first issue, we have the beautiful model Bridget, Miss Ooh La La, I guess you can say a picture of it. And she did that herself because I drove to Lafayette, Louisiana.
Hold that
And
up for another minute while you're still talking.
yeah, I drove to
There you go.
Lafayette, Louisiana to photograph her, and we had a cross up. And we missed that first date, and she was like, "So can you come back next week?" And with my work schedule, no, I can't. I don't know when I can get back. So I finally said, "Hey, do the shoot yourself, or let your boyfriend photograph you, and I'll buy the pictures from you."
Right.
And these are some of the interior pictures. I'll go ahead and if you got a Velma fetish,
As many do.
yeah, I know people who have bought the magazine simply because of the cover picture,
Right.
and
It's a great picture. I mean, it turned out perfect. I love it.
then the more spicier lingerie pics in the back. Um,
Hmm.
so that was the very first origins of the magazine were me trying to produce a magazine that actually had good writers, good models. Um, Jatori, she's a beautiful girl, and I hate to like, I don't want to seem like I'm denigrating her at all, but she's not really into horror.
I
Where
get it.
Miss Ulala she's a cosplayer and she likes horror. She does a beautiful cosplay of it's not Selena, but the girl from Terrifier 2, the Sierra.
Yeah,
Yeah, she
gotcha.
does a great cosplay of her. Um, Jatori just happened to text me while I was looking for models and like, hey, would you want to work with me again? Yes. So I photographed her and I made contact with Heather. And I've known Heather probably 10 years, but it was just like it had became just like internet buddies, like a picture, comment on a picture. And I finally got the guts back in November to ask her to be in the magazine, and she didn't reply to me. So I'm like, okay, I guess that means no. And so I kept looking for models, kept looking for cosplayers. And about February, she texts me, "Oh my God, yes, yes, yes. Sorry, I just saw this." So I'm like, "Oh my gosh." Um, So we finally started talking and we became friends. That's why when I call her a loser, she knows I call her a loser all the time because I love her to death. But Heather loves horror and she is one of the most beautiful women alive, in my opinion. Love her to death. I've told her that a bunch of times. She is stunning. And the pictures we took, she is stunning. And you can see her online and think, well, there's a goofy girl with a funny personality. She is stunning. If you miss her pictures in the second and third issue, I'm sorry. You missed
Tough
beautiful.
shit. You missed out. That's it.
You missed
Yeah.
some beautiful fucking pictures. Pardon my language.
No, it's fuck it. I don't care.
Um,
My show. Say whatever you want. I don't care.
and she has become so much more than a model because I start saying, "Oh my God, she's beautiful. She's beautiful." And people are like, well, that's just a horny dude thinks she's beautiful. She told me before we ever took the picture, she's like, "I really want to be more involved in the magazine." And I've let her be more involved, and she's an editor. I've got two editors besides myself, the people who I'm like, geez, should I do this? Should I do that? And she edited a lot of her own pictures. Some of the pictures in issue two, she edited herself, and it was just a timing thing where I didn't have time to wait for her to edit all of them because she edits like me, super ass slow. Only hers look better than mine when she's editing. Um, and we're working toward her doing more. And actually, she is going to do some photography later in the year around Christmas time. We're talking about we have a regular issue coming out on Christmas, and we're talking about doing a Christmas special as well.
Very
It's going to
nice.
be all models, cheesecake, pinup, um, and she's going to do a lot of the photography in that.
That is awesome. I love that. I think that narrowing all the horror. I don't want to say genres down because that's not right. But I love a good Christmas horror. Absolutely love it. I just
I'm
do.
still looking for Christmas horror stories right now. I've got someone who I know is. I've got one short for the story, which I was going to put it in issue two, and I started reading it, and I'm like, dude, this like I'm three chapters, three paragraphs in, and this gives me all the Christmas feels. And I'm like, would you be upset if I held this till Christmas? He's like, no, I might want to rework some of it just a tiny bit if you do that. But I plan on having his story. I believe it's called Blossom. Um, and I'm probably completely wrong, but that's going to be one of our Christmas issues. And I have an author who has already written one short for me. We've used who is supposed to be working on something for Christmas.
You know, you have been so incredibly busy, and I do know that just the everyday with you. Um, I should actually shoot you over my Christmas horror script. Have
I
you?
think I may have read it while you were working on it, unless it's
You
different.
might have actually. I know I've been sitting on this for way too long and I'm redoing it again, trying to add a little bit of beef to it. But yeah, I'm hoping to make that actually turn into a short film.
We
Try.
were going to try to shoot a short film from one of my better shorts. I had a short that was published several years ago. It was edited by Joe Moe, so I know the spelling's good. Um, and we were going to try to shoot that during Killer Pride at Scares at Care, and I don't know if we're going to be able to do that or not.
Mm.
Um, everything is hectic. Everything is like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, we got to do this. And we're like 8 months away. And then when it gets time, I'm still not ready for it. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but we were wanting to shoot it. Um, and I gathered up some people who are halfway decent on cameras and editing, and Heather was going to star in it. And we were going to
Nice.
shoot it at the convention and possibly at her place of business. Since the short story is called Fingernails and she works at a salon that does hair and nails. So
Oh,
I'm like,
perfect.
that's a perfect combination. Except the lead in the story is like 70 years old. So I'm going to have to age her down a little bit, at
Well,
least 60.
well, I guess we should probably kind of sort of officially welcome Heather to to the publication then. And Heather, if you do watch this, and I hope that you do, first off, I'm sorry that you weren't able to make it tonight. And I do hope that you feel better. And you are more than welcome at any given time you want to come on and chit chat. I would love to have you. But speaking of the word publication, where can people inquire? Where can they find? How can they put their hands on? And what are the options for them?
Well, if they have nudes, they should send them. Oh, wait, no. You asked about the magazine. Um, if you want to buy the magazine, probably the easiest way to get a copy is to go to www.captaincreepy.com. I didn't cheap out. I actually bought the domain name. So at least for the rest of the year,
There we
if you go
go.
to captaincreepy.com, there is a link that takes you to MagCloud where you can buy copies of the magazine. The first issue was put out on MagCloud. And MagCloud is the only site I've found that can do the staple, so it looks like an actual old magazine, and do that and let us still run over 48 pages. Um, Issue 2 is going to be on MagCloud and it should be on Amazon. We're going through Lulu, so it should have a
Mhm.
barcode. It should be available in bookstores. It can be available in bookstores. The Haunted Bookstore in Mobile, if you are around South Alabama, South Mississippi, the Haunted Bookstore in Mobile has agreed to carry it once we get the barcode and the ISBN numbers. Um, Port City Comics in Mobile has agreed to carry it. And I mentioned it on Facebook, and I had it in my local comic shop in Foley, Alabama, and I love it. I love the guy who runs it, but he couldn't handle the lingerie pictures. And he was like, I had him on the shelf. I sold like 5 copies, I think. And he was like, yeah, somebody complained about the lingerie pictures. So they pulled them.
They're just pissed off because their mother took the Sears catalog at Christmas
I
and the
know,
little
man. I tell you what, I
bastards.
miss those Sears catalogs.
Whatever.
I well, I used to miss them. Now you grow up and you be a photographer and you miss everything because suddenly, like right now, it's like, oh, you've got a magazine. Once you get the magazine, you will no longer have to pay girls to model for the magazine because they'll just want to be published. It's harder to even get someone to pose. And a half of that is because I feel like a creepy old dude when I'm approaching them, even with my magazine. And I'm like, look, I have a real magazine. It's pages, which
So,
which is why my real name's in it, so I can like say, look, it's me, driver's license, me.
I know you are on social media. Uh,
Sadly,
does the publication have its own social media page set up where people can find
it
it?
does. If you go to, I believe, let me check my phone here because I actually got someone, and I'll tell you about this one not on the air a little bit more, but I actually got someone to run a social media group and Twitter and all those fun things. And I just, for a little while, it was okay. And then it got where I just, like, you're not doing anything. But luckily, she didn't take, well, I'm not going to say nothing, but because people take breaks, but I haven't noticed any posting lately.
Mm,
But I was able to get Captain Creepy's Tome of Terror as a Facebook page.
nice.
And if you go there, you can follow us and you say, oh, there's a woman in a bikini. Okay. No. All right. But yeah, there are women in bikinis in this here Facebook thing. I hope
So,
my
boys
comic
and
book
girls,
shop don't
if
find
you
out.
can't find it on social media, you can honestly, if you want, if you're interested, you can hit me up. Um, and I'll be more than happy to direct you to
Yeah.
Alan, and he'll be able to obviously help you out. Now, with that being said, not everybody lives down where
Social media island.
where everybody has an accent like Alan does. So, with that being said, if this is of interest to you and you're like, hey, you know what? I really want to try and help support this guy. It sounds great. And if you happen to know of any really cool bookstores, game stores, comic stores, anything of that nature. Not so much your corporate element bullshit. No, we don't want that. Not yet. He's going to work up to that
I'm
though.
working on those,
But
but
anybody that you know that you can go to, I mean, hell, even certain tattoo shops have actually sell magazines in them. Wherever you go,
I was
mention it to them.
I was
If you
told
happen
it
to
would.
buy a copy, bring it
Yeah,
in with you and say, hey, man, would you be willing to show it to them? Let them peruse through it. And if they're interested, all the better. Hit me up, hit Alan up. We will get them
yeah.
shipped out. No problem whatsoever.
And as of issue number 2, they will have a barcode ISBN number, so you can literally, like the big bookstores, can even go into the global distribution network. It's like, I want book 0116, however they do the barcode stuff,
Right.
and they can stock it on their shelves. And the Haunted Bookstore, which cool bookstore. I mean, I'm going to sit here and plug them all night. They're a great little great little shop in downtown Mobile, and they handle lots of horror books, and they do other books as well. And I carried the magazine into them. I showed them, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to show you though. There are women in lingerie in here. It is a no nudity magazine, so don't think you're going to cancel your penthouse and get this instead. You're not going to see that inside the magazine. But there are going to be lingerie shoots. There are going to be some cosplay type shoots, some horror theme shoots. I wish I could show you, which I can pull it up, but you probably won't be able to see it. But Jatori in issue 2 did kind of a little witchy outfit.
Mhm.
Uh, I just posted that online.
I think it's a great picture. It's a great cover.
Have you seen it? I
I
don't know if
have.
you can actually see that or
Yeah,
not.
that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's horrible. But
They will have already seen it in the opening of this episode though.
hey, that's right. I forgot. I sent it to you. I'm
Yeah.
horrible. We've got 4 authors. It's not just a cheesecake magazine, which is one of those things. And even one of my editors is like, dude, all you ever talk about is the models. And you keep saying, oh, it's a book about fiction. We have 4 fiction writers, 4 fiction authors. Let me get, I sound like a little kid. Writers. We have 4 authors in this second issue. We have Matthew Preble, if I'm pronouncing his name right. And this is, I believe, his first horror story, yet he has been published under a different name,
Uh,
publishing serious works. And
Appending. Okay, very cool.
but he's one of the people like me who love the genre. They love horror, they love science fiction, stuff like this. He was at a Comic Con this weekend, but this is his first horror short. Um, then we have Scarlett Allison, who's a young girl. She's 17 years old. She is on the autism spectrum. This is her first real short story. And I read through it, and it's one of those, it's like she's not going to get Stephen King kicked off of his, role as a horror
Off his
writer.
throne, right?
But for a first short story, it is a very, very good. I call it a creepy ghost story. She may
That's
tell me
awesome.
it's called Exhuming the Lost, I believe is the name of it. Then we have Laura Collier, who I think this is one of her first works. And we have Johnny Logan Harley, unless I've got his last and middle name mixed up. But who he is a singer, producer, filmmaker, writer. He created the Frozen Dead comics.
Nice.
So 4 authors, and I'll even give you a what do they call it? A sneak, a preview, a breaking story. Issue 3. One of the writers is a friend of mine who has published several short stories, has directed about 2 or 3 movies. Kelly Young, or KL Young,
Mhm.
met him at Horrifying many, many years ago, and he takes my criticism of like, your movie sucked, dude. No, I, I remember drunkenly giving him like really good criticism. I watched the movie and I'm like, I liked it, but the special effects were kind of like, he's like, we
Yeah.
haven't done them yet. And I'm like, oh, he's like,
Oh,
yeah, those are like the stand ins for when we actually put the digital effects. And I'm like, okay, that explains it then. I just saw people pointing their hands and then nothing happened. I'm like, okay, that's, he's like, yeah, we're going to add the actual digital effects later.
Nice.
But, he wrote a wonderful vampire story for us. I have another author in that book whose name I cannot give you because he has not turned in the short yet. So therefore, he might not actually be in the book. And I have another author who I'm going to hold him so I have something to like
Sure.
announce in a couple of weeks.
Now, you
But
had mentioned when we were speaking earlier, you had somebody doing true crime. Did I happen to miss
I
that
do,
name?
and I think you know who she is. Laura Diane, Laura
Yes,
Albert, I
I
believe.
was so thrilled to hear you mention her name. She has got such a passion for that. I'm very, very
She
eager to see what she
she
turns
really
into,
does. She does, and she's quiet, unlike Heather. She's not annoying,
which means she's probably a serial
unlike
killer
Heather.
herself. Hi,
But she's
Laura.
she's dependable, and
Yes,
it's like Heather. And that's why I told her when she told me she headache and everything. I'm like, we can make it without you. But she has been there every time I've asked her to do something. It's like I'll be there. And the last podcast we had, she came racing in like halfway through, and so Heather's dependable as hell, and she's my friend to the point that I can talk shit about her every once in a while. And the only way she will actually, I know she will watch this, is to find out how much I talk shit about her tonight. But that's okay. But like I said, Laura kind of undercover is so dependable.
yes.
Love her to death.
Now,
Uh,
Laura's a great person. She's good people, and I'm very anxious to see what she writes for you.
and we have Jonathan Edward Smith, who is doing reviews for us right now.
Very
And
nice.
he has this really funny way of getting into the reviews. And this is not Siskel and Ebert. He's doing his own thing, and I love it. And someone who is new as of issue 2, Craig Lucas. I hope I didn't fuck his name up. And it's like most of the people involved with the magazine I've known for years. Craig's a guy I did a podcast with him couple weeks, months ago now. Me and Heather did a podcast with him, and he was like, I do write. So he is writing some editorial stuff for us. So it has become a bigger magazine,
That's
and
awesome.
I capped it at 60 pages, but we may have to expand or do something further on because, oh, and issue 2 also has a interview with Ellie Church, who you may know Ellie from the
Of
indie horror
course.
stuff. Yes. And I'm
Just
going,
finished watching her in her recent film Gush
I have not
about 2 weeks
seen
back.
Gush yet. I want to see that because that's the old group that did Harvest Lake back together again.
Yes, yes.
Um,
Bandit Motion Pictures, they are back, baby. It's
love that
it
fucking movie. And
yeah, it's good. It's real good. You're gonna like it. It's different from they've matured more.
mm,
Not to say that anything that they did in the past wasn't. It's a drama. It's good.
I
It's
definitely
real
want to check
good.
that
Really
out.
well act. She did a phenomenal job in this role, and she definitely captured the moment. So we do have that. We are almost out of time, my friend. Time has flown by. We have enjoyed watching you eat and drink, and
That's what I'm best at in life.
I'm just teasing. No, it's always a pleasure getting back and talking to you
You
after
know,
so long.
what is that? Game of Thrones, where Tyrion's like, I drink and I know things.
Right?
I drink and I eat.
When I drink, I know everything. Trust me.
You know what? I haven't announced this, and why not? Because I know people are going to listen to your podcast, and someone is going to hear this and say, "Holy shit!" I just booked an interview with the Phantoms, the rock band that do the diabolical. I believe he calls it diabolical rock and roll,
Very
ghoulish,
nice.
ghoulish rock and roll. Um, I did not know they existed till they actually came to the town where I was working on a night when I was working. So I
Hmm.
didn't get to see the show, but I heard about them, and they're pretty fucking phenomenal. I mean, it's goofy, funny horror, and it makes you remember the horror of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, you know? So if you're a fan of the Phantoms, we're going to be talking to them soon.
Nice. With that being said, boys and girls, I hate to cut it short, but we have to wrap this up. I want to take a moment to thank all of my newly found sponsors, one of which is looking at you right here on this interview.
He means
Captain
we would.
Creepy's. Be sure to find him. Hit us up. Definitely check it out. The anticipation is definitely growing. I definitely want to also thank Freak Show Unlimited for their sponsorship, as well as Hacks Horror Show. Boys and girls, I am John with the Witching Hour Podcast. Thank you so much for all of your support. Please hit the little subscribe button down below. Be sure to check out Captain Creepy. I will talk to you guys soon. Share the love and keep it evil.
Keep it creepy.